up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and Britney Spears' new book releases in under a week. And as we inch closer to that release date, it's becoming blatantly obvious that we were lied to about this book, that we were all lied to about what this book was actually going to be about right from the beginning. Now, I know that a lot of Britney Spears fans suffer from a condition called selective memory loss. But in the early days when this book was announced, this book wasn't really announced as a memoir. This book was supposed to be about Britney's conservatorship. Originally, this book was supposed to be about all of the deep, dark secrets of the conservatorship. This book was supposed to be about everything that happened to Britney during the conservatorship that we never knew. This book was supposed to be Britney finally releasing all of these dark, twisted details about what she went through. But then, over the days and the weeks and the month and the year, this book morphed from a book about what happened to her during the conservatorship to a memoir that would include details about the conservatorship. You see how quickly things changed? How the Free Britney movement, they were promised this book holding all of the secrets, all of the details that they so desperately wanted to know, all of these horrible things that supposedly happened to Britney that never really happened to Britney, but all of these horrible things that supposedly happened were supposed to be contained in this little book. But then, of course, like I said, as the days went on, we slowly found out that this book wasn't really about the conservatorship, that this book was going to be about details about Britney's life from 20 years ago that the majority of us already knew and that some of us, like myself, don't give a damn about. This book morphed from being this supposedly this book about all of these dark, twisted details to, oh, it's just a memoir. It went from a book of Britney spilling her heart out to, oh, there's some other guy writing the book for Britney. Yeah, Britney did not write this herself, people. It went from, oh, Britney's finally going to be able to speak and tell us what happened to her, to, oh, this guy is going to write about certain things that were already public knowledge that happened 20 years ago. And as you look at the headlines, you can totally see what this book is actually about. Show me one headline that has anything to do with the conservatorship, really. Britney and Britney's team, they're not marketing this book anymore surrounding the conservatorship. They're not using the conservatorship to market this book at all. Look at the headlines. Look at all of the information that's been released. It's about Justin Timberlake. It's about Colin Farrell. It's about her calling her sister a bitch again. Who cares? But these Britney fans are so caught up in their mass hysteria and fandom that even these people who I don't even like or agree with, they're not realizing that they've been duped. You all have been had. You all have been tricked. Tricked into believing that you were going to get this product that was going to reveal all of this stuff about the conservatorship, but instead you're finding out details about her 19-year-old relationship with Justin Timberlake and what they did when they were 19. See how quickly things change? And you see how demented her fan base is because quickly it went from, from pretending to care about a conservatorship to who cares about that anymore? Let's talk about this gossip from 2003. Never mind what supposedly happened to Britney last year, the year before that. Let's talk about Justin Timberlake and what happened between him and Britney when they were 19. She's 40-something years old now. And the sad part is that this book comes out in like 5 or 6 days. But if you know where to look, basically all of the book is already online. And I'm telling you right now, if you're hoping for some type of big reveals, if you're hoping for all of these dark hidden details about the conservatorship, you're not going to get it. You're going to get a bunch of nonsense. Just like all of the nonsense that is out there already dominating the headlines. She's going to go in depth about filming that movie that she did. She's going to go into depth about a fling with Colin Farrell. She's going to talk about Justin Timberlake. She's going to talk about her past performances. Not going to be a lot of dark secrets revealed, but then again, are there even really any dark secrets to begin with? You see, the Free Britney movement, it hyped up a lot of people. And to be honest with you all, the Free Britney movement was spearheaded by a lot of social media influencers and YouTubers, most of which didn't care about Britney or her situation. They just wanted to attach themselves to that situation for clout, which is why you don't really see any of them covering Britney or talking about Britney that much anymore. They went from dedicated Britney channels to, we're not going to talk about Britney. She's looking crazy. We don't want to be associated with it anymore. None of them continued diving into what was going on after the conservatorship was supposedly over. I did. Most of the people still working around Britney are the same exact people. Nothing has really changed except Britney is off her meds and has access to her money to do stupid things with, like buy horrible outfits and buy houses that she doesn't even intend on living in, and then trying to sell the house 2 weeks later. But you see, the Free Britney movement, they generated this storm. They got a bunch of wine moms hyped up. You know, a lot of people were at home because of COVID and things like that, didn't have anything to do, so they hyped people up about the situation that wasn't nearly as bad as what you think. Like, these people literally convinced y'all, or the majority of the Free Britney movement, they convinced people. They convinced people that, oh, Britney's never been on the internet before. Britney didn't have access to a cell phone. And after the conservatorship, the excuse has been that, oh, all of this crazy stuff that Britney's doing, it's because Britney hasn't had a chance to be on the internet. Britney doesn't know how the internet works. Britney's never been on a cell phone before. Britney's never did this. Never mind the fact that there's literally thousands of pictures of Britney on cell phones. Never mind the fact that the internet was around well before the conservatorship, and that she's been allowed to be on the internet and use a phone this entire time. They have over-exaggerated what happened to her during this conservatorship, making people believe that she was this slave tied to a chair and locked in a basement for years, when the whole time this woman was on TV shows, doing interviews, releasing music. She had a residency in Las Vegas, but the Free Britney movement convinced a bunch of people who were bored at home with nothing to do. They convinced you all that Britney was this slave with no voice, that wasn't allowed to do anything or say anything. They took away Britney's voice. Meanwhile, Britney's on stage in front of thousands of people every day in Las Vegas. If she had something to say, she could have said it. It's frustrating because I know what it's like to actually be silenced. I look around at my peers who are being silenced removed from social media for having the wrong opinion. Britney has always had and will always have a bigger platform to voice whatever she wants to voice. She's always had a bigger platform than any of you all will ever have. To try to sit here and pretend like Britney was voiceless and silenced as she would go on stage in front of thousands of people, as if she doesn't have social media accounts with 40 million followers. She has a huge platform and has always had, the opportunity to voice what she wants to voice. So don't sit here and pretend like she couldn't. But yeah, they want to hype you up like, oh my God, this was done like this. And you get this image in your head of like Britney Spears tied to a chair. She can't look at anyone. She can't talk to anyone. She can't do anything. She can't do anything, right? But in reality, the conservatorship really was trying to establish a better relationship between Britney and her kids without her having psychotic breakdowns, and trying to reel Britney in from blowing through her fortune because she was going broke before the conservatorship. Now, I don't agree with the conservatorships. I'm not saying that everything that happened to Britney was ideal. And having other people have a say-so over your choices, I wouldn't like that. So I'm not saying I agree with that per se. But to sit here and pretend like Britney was this slave, this prisoner that didn't have access to the outside world, that couldn't use a cell phone and do all of these things, all of that has been fake nonsense from the beginning. As someone who likes conspiracies and likes to look into conspiracies that are actually real, I can tell you that this Britney Spears conspiracy nonsense is all fake. I looked into it for over a year. Most of these allegations, most of these claims about what Britney went through are false, made up nonsense by YouTubers who had nothing better to do but to trick their audiences into supporting their channel via supporting Britney. So here we are. We are on the brink of the release of this big book. And I'm looking around at everyone, and it's almost as if they totally forgot about conservatorship. What about the conservatorship? What about this book being about the conservatorship? What about Britney letting people know about what happened to her during the conservatorship? Everyone's forgot about that because now, like a ravenous pack of animals, they're going to attack Justin Timberlake. They're going to attack Jamie Lynn Spears. They're attacking her kids again. And just like that, everything that we were promised, everything that Britney's fans were promised, you're not getting it. You're getting shat on for old information that most of you all already knew about in 2002. But no matter what's in the book, I do have it on pre-order because I promised you all that I would read it. But now, I'm sitting here like, what's the point? I really don't want to waste all of this time reading about past performances and relationships. You know what I mean? But if you would still like me to do so, let me know. Maybe drop a super thanks down below, because in order to read this book, I'm going to have to take time away from making other content and researching other news stories if I have to sit down and read 300 pages of Britney's nonsense. I mean, when it was supposedly supposed to be about the conservatorship, I thought that maybe it would be worth it. But now, leading up to this book release, and I see that it's all about drama that I don't care about, I'm not as intrigued and I'm not as passionate about reading it for sure. But if you still want me to, let me know, and I'll do a chapter by chapter review. But like I said, I'm going to have to take away from doing other things. So, oh man, we'll see. Let me know your thoughts though down below. If you would like to support this channel, if you're feeling generous, drop a super thanks, or you could support this channel for totally free by hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, sharing this video, and ringing that notification bell. But with that being said, I will talk to you all soon in the next video.